Welcome back to Backward Point Podcast. My name is Nazra Sayed, and today's episode, Bashar, I'm going to start with a poem that you might be very familiar with, a poet that was one of my favorite poets, Dylan Thomas, and his poem called "Do Not Go Gentle Into That Good Night." I'm just going to read a couple of stanzas. Hopefully, the viewers, the listeners will understand where this podcast is headed just by a couple of stanzas, right? Do not go gentle into that good night. Old age should burn and rave at close of day. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. Good men, the last wave by, crying how bright. Their frail deeds might have danced in a green bay. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. Wild men who caught and sang the sun in flight, and learned too late they grieved it on its way. Do not go gentle into that good night. Old age should burn and rave at close of day. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. With me, as always, my brother and co-host, Bashar Sayed. Okay. I mean, with the hat and everything, I just wanted to wear the beanie to figure out why
do you look like Atif Aslam from the music video of Hum Kis Gali Ja Rahe Hain? If you know, you know.
Atif Aslam in that entire album was heartbroken, out of inspiration. That song that you quoted is out of key. It's very reminiscent of a certain boxing cricket team that has sort of lost its magic, lost its mojo, and I'm a complete representation of a boxing cricket fan.
Your beard's overgrown, your shirt's wrinkly, you're drinking something.
Crush orange soda and like
Crush, because that is what your soul is right now.
Exactly. Crushed. Shirt isn't ironed, haven't shaved in 2 weeks, bags under my eyes, hair, like, what do you want from me?
Yet here you are.
I'm here. I'm present. I've arrived. I have marked myself as in attendance as a boxing cricket fan and a fan of cricket in general.
There is a very famous Dr. Seuss quote. He says, "Don't cry because it's over. Smile because it happened." I'm going to just...
Wait, I just want to pause here. So you brought a quote by Dr. Seuss.
Yes.
Well, I brought a Dylan Thomas poem. You and I are not the same.
Your point is?
I'm just saying, I'm very glad that both of us have become literary inclined. And this podcast is now a highbrow podcast for the elites.
My version of this Dr. Seuss quote for this ODI series is smile because it's over. Cry because it happened.
People on Instagram saw it first.
I am so happy this series is done.
I'm so happy.
So many losses consecutively. Like, I was just done with it towards the end of it.
Bro, it's like, it's not even deja vu at this point. It's like, you know, when you get a scab and when you get a carpet burn or you fall and you start picking at it because it starts becoming itchy, it becomes one of those things where it's just not, the wound isn't healing.
It was Groundhog Day. You wake up and it's the same thing over and over again. Groundhog Day, Edge of Tomorrow.
Edge of Tomorrow is what
I just watched Mickey 17.
Mickey 17.
And that movie, that character keeps dying and reprinting.
Yeah.
So as Pakistan fans, we like a part of us dies every time Pakistan loses.
Every day is a death as a boxing cricket fan. There is no solace. Where does one go? You know, I can tell you where one can go is the Patreon chat. If you guys haven't heard, Backward Point has its own Patreon chat where we have about 25, 27 paid members who are on our Patreon who then get access to this WhatsApp chat. And it's me, you, it's 25 other people that are equally heartbroken from all around the world who like boxing cricket, who discuss boxing cricket, and who are just somehow holding on hope against hope. And it was us, it was them, it was this Pakistan 15, and man, it was just nightmares.
Shout out to the Patreon fam. They make this whole experience less miserable.
Yeah, and I would implore everybody who is a boxing cricket fan, who is a fan of cricket, doesn't have to be a boxing cricket fan, to join in because we would love some diverse voices. I feel like our Patreon chat right now is extremely Pakistan coded, and I would love to have like an Indian cricket fan or a Bangladeshi cricket fan in there as well, just to balance it out because it gets depressing in there.
They say if you share your sadness, the sadness diminishes.
Yeah, I feel like it's just reciprocating.
It's snowballing.
It's snowballing, man. Like TR comes in, he says something, it breaks my heart, and then I add to it, and then we are trying to laugh, but you know, through the tears.
I also want to give a big shout out to Reddit /Pak Cricket. So there's a very massive Pak Cricket Reddit channel, subreddit, I would say. And they invited us on their first ever Ask Me Anything for their entire subreddit.
Yeah.
Around 90,000 people there. So very honored and humbled to be invited and to be able to do our first AMA. I think it's still up there. People ask a lot of intriguing questions.
Yeah. And honestly, we lurk that subreddit a lot. And some people are extremely nice to us and some people not so nice. And I was hoping for the not so nice people to come up and say something. But honestly, very welcoming. Everybody had really interesting questions, really intriguing questions. I think we went through most of them or all of them, I hope. It was a lot of fun, man. You and I were sitting together and just enjoying these questions and tackling them one by one. So thank you guys at Pak Cricket subreddit for giving us a shout.
We also crashed into a very diehard Backward Point listener a few weeks ago. We were in Mississauga
For suhoor.
just having some suhoor, and we were like meeting a really old friend of ours from Karachi.
Who also,
in
we used
town.
to play cricket together. Like, shout out Iftihad. Iftihad is listening to this podcast. Iftihad and I used to open for the overseas cricket team.
So Ibtihaj and you were the opening batters,
The opening batters.
and then Ibtihaj's younger brother and I were the opening bowlers.
There we go.
And
What's nepotism? Nobody knows. It's all merit based, I swear. But it was fun, man. It was like catching up, and then these two like young lads showed up, and they were just, man. It's honestly all of our fans. Not only just Pakistani fans in Dubai, we met a lot of Indian cricket fans that are Backward Point fans. Everyone's so nice. So it just shocks me when I read comments because they are not indicative
Here's
of
what
our
happens.
actual fan base.
if somebody likes Backward Point,
Yeah.
they'll give a thumbs up and they'll just go about their day.
Yeah.
But if somebody hates us, and trust me, you will find reasons to hate us, and you will let us know that you hate us.
Because I didn't choose India in the top 4.
Correct.
And
So
then
I
they
mean,
won the whole thing.
they can't hate us in person because I'm 6 foot and you're about 5'10", 5'11". I have a pretty broad shoulders, and if you hate me in person,
It's
there's
gonna
a
be
very
tough.
good chance I can just give you.
No, but you're like such a non-violent dude, bro. What the hell? Like this guy is 6 foot tall, but like he's like a teddy bear. Like you wouldn't hurt a fly.
Big Hero 7.
Yeah, but your mouth does go off a little bit. So
Yeah. So this person we met in Mississauga, he said, and I quote, "Backward Point helped me get through a lot of tough times." And I wish I could say the same thing.
man, I can see the same thing. Like if you and I did not have this podcast, I think we would have tuned out 6 months ago. I don't even think we would have covered the Champions Trophy.
You should have like stopped watching cricket.
But because of this podcast, there is an avenue where you and I can come sit 2 hours, 3 hours a week and actually like talk about our feelings. Where is another platform where Pakistani fans can come out and talk about their feelings? It's not on the traditional media because that whole game is different. You know, there are some YouTubers that are just there for the clicks, so it's not there anymore as well. I think this is a safe space where Pakistani fans can come in and shoot the bird and realize that, hey, it's tough out there, but we're gonna plow through. Do not go gentle into that good night. You know, rage against the dying of the light. That's what we're here to do.
Another safe space is Backward Point's Discord server.
Yeah,
We've got about 1.2K people there, and I'm constantly in and out of that server, answering questions, interacting with you guys. And I had this very fun interaction with this one specific Discord member, Fahad Zaidi from Calgary. He sent a picture of his little son. I think he's about a few months old, and he was watching Backward Point on TV, and his young son was watching Backward Point. And I commented, Fahad, I think your son and your son, Mikhail,
Yeah.
they have not seen Babar Azam score a century
No.
in over 500 days.
Yep.
And I guess that streak has to continue waiting.
My son is starting to say words now. He's 18 months. He can say words. And I'm just scared that one of his first sentences will be, Dad, where's Babar's century?
You know, this actually very concerning because this started off as a joke initially, but it's sort of dragged on now. It's been 584 days since Babar Azam's last ODI 100.
And my son was born the night before the Pakistan-India World Cup game. And him and I watched, like he was just a day old, but him and I watched the game together in the hospital on an iPad. And I used to joke with my wife and you as well, hey, like Mikhail has not seen Babar score a century. Now, mind you, when Mikhail was born, the last century that Babar scored was maybe a few months ago, a few weeks ago.
Because at that time, Babar was scoring centuries for fun. He would
Yeah.
like come in, score a century, win a match, and that would be it. It was BAU.
Yeah, and now it's just like, Mikhail is like, Dad, you told me this guy has 19 ODI centuries. I haven't seen a single one of them. And I'm just like ashamed. I don't know what to tell him. And my wife will disagree if you guys ever, meet her or if she ever does come on this podcast, if that ever happens for some reason, that I was very close to naming my son 2 names. Babar was one of the names that I was considering heavily. I, as a dad, was considering. I don't know if it would have definitely gotten vetoed. It did get vetoed, right? His name was Mikhail. And the other name was Saim. Babar and Saim were like 2 names. Saim is also still in contention for maybe 2 or 3, whatever. But Babar was up there, man. And imagine if I had named him that.
And this is regardless if he was a boy or a girl?
Yes. No. If it was a boy, we knew it was a boy. But like, if I had named him Babar Sayyed, and Babar Azam failed to score a century, imagine the trauma on Mikhail's head. for the rest of his life.
I think if you named him Babar, he would just be an anchor.
Mm.
He would keep anchoring things.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about this series at all, or should we just wrap it up now?
Let's do it.
You just really want to talk about this?
I do.
This is the podcast that I've been like dreading. Like we've shot for about 10 minutes and we still haven't talked about the cricket because that's how much we don't want to talk about it. But here we are, man. Like we got to do it.
I feel so old because the last time Pakistan won an ODI series against New Zealand, I witnessed it.
Lala was captain.
This is 2010-2011. Pakistan won a 6-match ODI series 3-2. One match got washed out. And this is right before the 2011 ODI World Cup. So I've seen Pakistan win series in New Zealand. The last time they won any series against New Zealand in New Zealand was the 2018 T20 series we had where Sarfaraz was the captain.
Yep.
And we won 2-1.
Yep.
So since then, it's been about 7 years and Pakistan continues to struggle in New Zealand specifically.
Not only that, Pakistan continues to play New Zealand. I think since 2018, they've played each other 64 times in international cricket. Most among bilateral teams. The second most is like 50 or 48 or something. That's like England and India.
Almost feels like when you're playing gully cricket,
Yeah.
we would live in the L block in Karachi, and then we would always face the guys from P block.
What block was that?
P block.
No, which block did you live in?
L block.
Indicative of a Pakistan cricket fan.
And
What can I say?
so we would consistently face the P block guys because just with their close proximity, and we would come in and play in the P park, and they would come play in the H park, and that's what it feels like. Just consistently playing against New Zealand and still not being able to get the better of them. You know, once you play a team for a few times, you understand their strengths, weaknesses, and how to beat them. In Pakistan, regardless if they're playing in Pakistan or if they're playing them in New Zealand, they're struggling.
It seems like a PIA Emirates situation where PIA was the better airline and like trained Emirates and so long for so much time, and now PIA is shit and Emirates is the number one airline in the world. And same thing, New Zealand was sort of bad, and then they kept playing Pakistan and lost a few series in Pakistan, and suddenly they had sent their B side and D side, and then they started winning series, and you're like, wait, what's going on? Before anybody could realize that Pakistan was sucking ass, New Zealand just went to the Champions Trophy final.
I think that is the most concerning part to me, is that this is Pakistan's arguably their A-list team, and this is New Zealand's B or even C team. So Pakistan, hold on. In Pakistan, you can say maybe Saim Ayub is missing, maybe Fakhar Zaman is missing, Shaheen Afridi was dropped. So aside from those two guys, this is our best team. And for New Zealand, they're missing Mitch Santner, who was their captain. They're missing Matt Henry, I believe, is not playing. Devin Conway, Glenn Phillips, Achin Ravindra, which is like 5 of their core players.
Yeah. Trying to think, is this Pakistan's A side that went in? Because I don't think it's an A side.
Well, who else would be here?
It's definitely, I can see this be a B side. I don't think it's an A side.
Well, that's what I'm asking you.
So
who's
it's
missing?
Saim Fakhar are out, two openers, right? Because we had Usman opening in one game and Imam opening in the other game, right? So we have 2 openers out. And in the middle order, we don't have KG in there. I don't know if KG was dropped or rested. Maybe a drop, but maybe the better player to be in there. For bowlers, we don't have Shaheen Afridi in there. We don't have Hasnan in there. Who else? Who was a regular? Naseem was in there, in and out. Akif was basically the bowler that played all 3 games. Haris didn't play this 3rd game. So it's a mixed bag. It's more of an experimental series. So I would push back against the idea that this was Pakistan's A side. B, C, probably. And not to give them not to get them off the hook and be like, hey, because it was B side, Pakistan should be 3-0 swept. I just think there should have been more fight. And with Pakistan's played New Zealand about 6 times in the past 6 months, and they haven't won a single ODI. And that includes the 2 tri-series games, the 1 Champions Trophy game, and then the 3 ODIs here. So it is concerning. I'm not saying that. And I do believe that apart from these 3 ODIs, the other 3 that they played, that was a strong side. And Pakistan
At home,
Pakistan barely got a whiff. So I'm not saying that the problem is that the side wasn't packed. There is a bigger, larger picture here that I would love to touch upon.
How do you want to tackle this series review? Do you want to go game by game, or do you want to just talk about overall things?
We can go a bit game by game because there are some highlights that I would definitely like to talk about.
But
the answer is not going to be in the games because we've all seen the games. We already know what happened. What we should be discussing, and we will probably get to it, is the aftermath, the what nows, and what it actually means about Pakistan cricket and Pakistan cricket fans. Because you and I, first and foremost, are the fans of this game and this team. And then if you and I are being so disheartened What about the casual? What about the guy who's, who tunes in? We had a lot of people waking up at 3 a.m. trying to catch this game from Pakistan. What about them? No, that kind of commitment is crazy. I just want to set the record straight. You didn't even watch the third ODI. You were watching Severance. So, like, if you who host North America's biggest cricket podcast, maybe the top 10 biggest podcasts in the world on cricket, is watching Severance while the third ODI of your favorite team is going on, what does that say? That's what I want to discuss.
Exposed. You know what's funny? Because you mentioned Severance, I want to use an analogy from Severance to explain Pakistan cricket and its management and its coaching.
No spoilers, please.
No spoilers, but just a quick rundown of what Severance is. Essentially, there's a character who has two versions of themselves. There's an innie who works inside the office, and there's an outie who sort of lives the normal life.
Yeah.
The innie and outie are two different people, but they're the same people. So the innie doesn't know what the outie does. The outie doesn't know what the innie does. And so once they enter their workspace and they go down the elevator to their office, they change as a person.
Yeah, the personality
they lose their memories, and it's sort of a fresh start. They have memories from the innie side, memories from the outie side.
But they never meet.
It's a very interesting concept. And yesterday, I was showing you a video of Mohammad Yusuf and how he is breaking down Abdullah Shafiq's technique, how his bat swing is coming from really far outside. There's a big gap between Abdullah Shafiq's bat and pad. He was breaking down Babar Azam's batting and how Babar Azam is opening up, getting squared up. And this is all on TV on Sama News. And now that Mohammad Yusuf is with the team, the Pakistani batters are making the same exact mistakes. There's still a massive gap between Abdullah Shafiq's bat and pad. Babar Azam is still getting squared up. And so I feel like when the Pakistani ex-players are on TV, that is a different version of themselves. Once they become part of the system and coaching and selection,
they get severed.
Okay. That is a different version of themselves when they're with the team. Because if Mohammad Yusuf knows exactly what is wrong with Abdullah Shafiq and Babar Azam's technique, and he's trying to convey it to them, and they're not grasping it or they're not learning it, what is the problem?
I think this is a bigger picture problem, because Mohammad Yusuf coming out and trying to blatantly expose certain aspects of the game just to show himself as the wiser. That's the problem, in my opinion, because you and I both know that as Mohammad Yusuf stepping into the Pakistan circle will not automatically fix these generational problems. How many deliveries has Babar Azam and Abdullah Shafiq played individually for them to have that technique be just a part of their instinct? Thousands, probably. They play hours and hours of cricket every single week, right? For Mohammad Yusuf to expect that him coming into the setup will immediately fix these fundamental issues in Babar and Abdullah Shafiq, that itself is the problem in expectations.
Well, in that same interview, Mohammad Yusuf says that he tried to convey the issues to at least Abdullah Shafiq. And he says the first sort of step to fixing an issue is to accept that there is an issue.
Yeah.
And he thinks that a lot of the players think that their batting is fine as long as they're scoring runs on flat decks. It's sort of paying off. It doesn't show that they have a problem in their technique, right? Because they're scoring runs. But as soon as you get into sort of more quality oppositions on a bit more challenging pitches where your technique is actually challenged versus, for example, just what happened to Abdullah in South Africa, 3 ducks in 3 matches, him getting squared up in that second ODI. Also, the entire Pakistani top order, including Babar Azam, including Imam ul Haq, getting exposed. So I feel like a lot of our guys are not equipped to face that sort of a bounce, swing, seam movement. And not to their defense, but I expected better from some of the guys. Imam ul Haq has toured New Zealand a few times. Babar Azam has toured New Zealand a handful of times, which is a big number. Abdullah Shafiq has toured there before. So these guys going there, not being able to adapt, that to me is a far more concerning point in Pakistan's end result.
Would you say Babar didn't adapt? Babar has scored 129 runs in this 3 ODIs.
Yeah. Okay. So if you want to talk about Babar just a bit more,
we always want to talk about Babar. I feel
we love talking about Babar.
That's the number one problem and solution at the same time.
I think Babar is time and again proving that he is an anchor player, that he needs somebody on the other end to help him build his innings. And what Babar's role, to me, what it feels like and how it's been defined by the team management, is that Babar Azam has to hold one end. The other guys need to take risks. So even if peak Babar, right? Let's talk about 2019 Babar. The game against New Zealand, arguably Babar Azam's best century. Babar was anchoring one end. Haris Sohail came in and helped him play the innings that he did. Even in the second ODI, was the first ODI actually,
First ODI,
where he scored 70 odd, 78, right?
78.
So Babar Azam was kind of struggling in the beginning, and it was only until Salman Al Yaga came, he scored a quick fire 50, and Babar had the partnership with Salman. That's when Babar looked the most comfortable.
Mhm.
So my point being is that Babar needs somebody on the other end who can play quickly to help enable Babar Azam to play aggressively and just to play his natural game, which is to hold one end and go big. And
I
what
think
it feels like
sorry.
to me is that Babar always looks to get to his own 50 and then tries to hit out or accelerate. That's just been his game. Now, in Pakistan or against weaker oppositions, he's been able to pull it off. But when you're in New Zealand facing a pretty good New Zealand attack, you're not able to pull it off all the time.
Do you think his strike rate is the issue here? Because I would disagree with you. I think let's say if he's in anger, he's a number 3 player. His record in the first game was 94. Second game, he got out really early. I believe he scored 1. And third game, again, it was in the high 80s. Is that a problem? When you're going out chasing a run a ball, all 3 of the games, it was right about the 6 and over average. So he's kind of meeting that requirement. And yes, he's getting out horrible ways. The first and third ODI was almost like a ditto copy, Control-C, Control-V situation. But I would argue that, yeah, he's not getting centuries, but he's still not the part of the problem in the batting. But part of the problem, as your captain, as Pakistan's captain said on record, is that we have a good 40 overs, but we don't know what to do with the last 10 overs. The reason that we won the South Africa series and the Australia series just recently was because we were aiming to hit the 40 overs. And you and I noticed that when we watched those games live. Pakistan would bowl out Naseem, Shaheen, Haris in the first 35, 40 overs. They didn't even, and I think in one of the games or a couple of the games, a fourth bowler never even bowled. Because they just went Hasnan, Naseem, Haris, and Shaheen. Boom, 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 boom. So if you're only playing for 40 overs, then this is the result that's going to happen. Where you don't have the last 10 overs to do anything about. And you get whipped.
I agree. That's the first problem that we need to identify, which is Pakistan's bowling. Now, it pulled off in Australia. The first match Pakistan lost, but the second and third match, second and third ODI, Pakistan bowled Australia out in 32 overs and within 35 overs.
Yes.
So Pakistan's death bowling was never really tested. Now, when they go to South Africa, Pakistan has some really incredible knocks from Saim Ayub and Salman Al Yaga, which helped them cross the line. But Pakistan's bowling was still a bit of an issue. So
Pakistan should not be conceding 344 in the first ODI and 264 in the third ODI and even 292 in the second ODI. Every single ODI that just went past, Pakistan conceded 30 to 40 runs extra minimum. Minimum.
I have some numbers on Pakistan's death over bowlings just in this year. So just in this year, Pakistan has bowled 6 innings. And Pakistan's bowling in the death overs has been the worst in terms of economy. Pakistan's economy has been 12.03. Second worst is South Africa, 11.86. England, 10.63. India's economy in the death has been 7.82. Pakistan's bowling average in the death has been 32.42. Again, the worst amongst any of the ODI playing nations. And Pakistan's bowling strike rate, so the amount of balls per wickets that they take, is 18.17. Which is also, again, the worst out of the entire list of ODI playing countries this year. So we're conceding runs, we're not taking wickets, and that's been our major issues. And some of the bowlers on this list that have been conceding these runs are primarily Shaheen and Naseem. I think their economies are well above 10, and only Haris Shrove's economy is around 8.6, I believe. So Shaheen, Naseem have been the major culprits of Pakistan leaking runs in the last 5 overs of ODI innings in this year.
Naseem is averaging 40 odd something, man. I just saw the stat. It's annoying to me because he was supposed to be the answer with Shaheen. And in 2025, he's played, let me just get these numbers right. It's 8 matches, 7 innings. He's averaging 49.37. He's only taken 8 wickets. Best 2 for 43.
Yeah. The other issue is, so Pakistan won the toss in all 3 matches. They bowled first. And then they're conceding that many runs. So when you're bowling first, the idea is it's sort of seeming swinging conditions. You want to put the opposition to bat first and get early wickets. Pakistan got 1 wicket, 2 wickets sometimes, but they weren't able to run through their batting lineup consistently. And Naseem has looked the better bowler in the opening spell. Didn't get the support from the other end. But even Naseem, just a lot of plays, misses. He seems to me like more of a container than an actual genuine wicket taker. Like he'll ball his maiden overs, he'll ball dot balls, but to expect him to like run through the top order, that seems to me a stretch for now.
And I think you and I, as armchair experts, can see that he just doesn't bowl full. He doesn't bowl full enough for the wickets to LBW and bowl to come into play. He's worried that he's going to get smacked for runs or whatever the case may be. And another thing that you and I just noticed, just off the hand now, we don't have any stats to back this up. Where is Naseem's in-swinger?
Yeah, I was looking back at some of his bowling in the 2022 Asia Cup.
Against Virat Kohli.
The first ball he bowled to Virat Kohli was the in-swinger.
He cut him in half.
One of the bowls he got in the Asia Cup final was on the in-swinger where he bowled Kusal Mendes.
Yes.
So ever since his injury, I haven't seen Naseem Shah ball the in-swinger. He's had one delivery, which is the outswinger, and then maybe a scramble seam ball that he balls that just sort of just decks off in on the surface. So he just sort of looks very one-dimensional to me. Line length, very predictable. We saw Rohit Sharma come down the track and hit him against the game against India. So he doesn't look as threatening to me. And these conditions were tailor-made for any fast bowler where the pitch is swinging, it's seaming, you're getting plenty of bounce and not being able to like drive an edge or draw the batsman in for
like Ben Sears took 10 wickets for God's sake. Is Naseem Shah worse than Ben Sears?
Well, Ben Sears grew up on these pitches.
That doesn't like, but these pitches are bowler friendly. So whatever the case may be, like when Wasim Akar would go, and even forget Wasim Akar, Muhammad Irfan and Junaid Khan would go to these pitches, they would take wickets because these pitches suit fast bowling. You know, like it doesn't matter where you grew up. If you're a genuine fast bowler, you extract the best out of these conditions. Naseem Shah, I was disappointed. I was extremely disappointed. And not only that, Akif Javed also disappointed me. This guy showed...
Akif Javed?
Well, we will go on the whole Akib debate of it all, but Akif himself was like you called it way before. I don't know, maybe we did a preview on this. You said, hey, Akif is a really good bowler, good prospect. He's extremely raw and extremely wayward. And I was like, how wayward can this guy be? And you were like, Mohammad Sami on acid. And I was like, let me see. And after 3 ODIs, I'm like, man, this guy cannot land 6 deliveries in one spot at all.
And it's not his fault. It's the selector's fault for picking him so early on. I think he's played like a handful of List A matches, just a few first-class matches. And looking at his general bowling, he needs a lot of work on his run-up, on his jump.
How high is his jump?
So when his jump is so high, he is losing momentum.
Yeah, he's losing like 5 to 7 clicks right there.
And I think this is the general issue with the Pakistan team right now, where we have a lot of prospects, we have a lot of talent, but this is the stage where you want finished products. You want guys to come in and start delivering. We are talking about how Akif is a great prospect. He's young, he's raw. Well, if he's young and raw, shouldn't he be playing domestic and sort of being polished there?
I mean, do you trust our domestic system to polish players?
No.
I follow Cricket Mentoring, Scholes's channel on Instagram. And he's, working with academies in India, and he's in the grassroots and really working on these young kids and helping them out with their techniques and all that. I'm just looking at his stories and I'm just looking at his journey because I follow that, and every now and then I'll get a piece of wisdom that I can use in my own game. And I'm like, the facilities that these Indian cricketers have at the age of 11 to 16, unparalleled.
India has this thing called an MRF Pace Academy. And for the longest time, they had somebody like Glenn McGrath lead it. They had Dennis Lilly come in and give some sessions. And that's the sort of breeding ground you want to develop fast bowlers.
And I compare that what I see with Cricket Mentoring and Scholes's channel to what you and I witnessed at PI Cricket Academy. And it's like, remember, like for like a week, they just taught us how to defend the ball. And it was like, you should be R-shaped and you should be this and your head should be here. And I'm like, when are we going to play cricket, man? When are we going to start? And we were 12. Like I was 12, you were 10 when that happened. So in that age, like Scholes is playing hardball with these kids and like teaching them how to reverse scoop and, play the on drive and all that. And just anecdotally speaking, what you and I witnessed when we were in a similar setup for a few years, not a long time, was just that we're just way far behind. And these coaches don't take that level of cricket as seriously as they should. And then you and I come up and we're like, Akif Javed is not developed and he's still too raw. Well, duh, if he doesn't step up into the international system in Pakistan, he doesn't get recognized enough for people to give him clout for him to develop. That's just the toxic cycle that Pakistan has been in. Like, if you're not like weird, like Suhail Tanveer wrong foot, or Muhammad Irfan 7'1", or just premium pace like Muhammad Sami, or Batta like Shabir Ahmed, if you're not weird people will not notice you. We as Pakistanis have just forgot the role players. In NBA, I watch a lot of NBA. So in NBA, there'll be like 1 or 2 big superstars in an NBA team. But the other 6, 7 people that play, that are on or off the bench or that are starting the game are just straight up typical role players. Who was the last role player Pakistan had? Asad Shafiq, probably. Like just a guy who was like a number 6. That's his entire personality. Is I bat at number 6 in test matches. Like Azhar Ali maybe was a role. Like I'm trying to think of a genuinely good role player that we had that would assist a superstar. We don't have that. You know, who's the Scottie Pippen to our Jordan? We don't even know who our Jordan is right now. Like that's how bad the system has become. We had this guy who was trailing, and his graph was going to the north, to the right, to the top right, and we just brought him down. I mean, it's crazy.
We brought him down.
No, you and I. But I'm just talking about the media. Like, you know, I still think about going to the Pakistan India game and hearing like 25,000 Indian cricket fans scream "Ghante ka king" at Babar Azam.
Tuk Babar.
I'm just like, where are these remarks are not coming from the Indian media. This is coming from Pakistan. You know, there's a couple of guys that people love to watch and you know, love to hate or love to agree with or whatever the case may be, but they are resonating with a larger audience, and it's so fun to hate, man. Ali Tareen was on a podcast and he was like, I love to hate. And I was like, you should not be saying that as a person that owns a franchise. Like what are we talking about? But that's the bottom line right now. It's so easy to hate these big star players, so easy to pull them down, that when Babar Azam scores 270s, we're like, but did he win the game?
Yeah, there's actually no way for Babar Azam to please the masses
There's no way for him to win.
Unless he scores like 150 off 50 balls and wins the match and goes out, not out. That's the only way. And even then, they'll be like, oh, New Zealand B team.
Yeah.
So there's no actual way of Babar pleasing the masses.
India beat an Australia C team at the ICC Champions Trophy semifinal. Did anybody bring that up? Is that even part of the conversation of the
I
win?
think I did.
Like, you and I probably brought this up, but like, that conversation is dead before it even starts. But when Pakistan plays a CD team, it's a big deal. Well, Pakistan itself sent a B team this time. So why are we not discussing that? That's why I pushed back when you said that in the beginning, because I was like, I don't agree with the premise that Pakistan sent their best.
Just going back to fast bowling, I think if Mohammad Hasnain, one of Pakistan's fastest, I would say like top 5 fast bowlers right now, if he has to go to the UK, to the speed camp on his own dime, live in this sort of village circle with Shahbaz Chaudhry to work on his fast bowling, that shows us exactly where Pakistan cricket stands, because we can develop our own crop of bowlers. Like what happened to Shahnawaz Dahani? Mohammad Wasim gets injured, comes back, he's lost 10 Ks. Hassan Ali, one of Pakistan's premier bowlers, I think fastest to 50 ODI wickets, number 1 in the rankings for like a couple of years.
Player of the tournament in the Champions Trophy that Pakistan won.
He doesn't know how to do deadlifts with the right form.
Yeah, I heard that.
He has an injury, slip disc, and the PCB is like, oh, he's acting. He just wants massages.
So then, Bashar, how can you step into this podcast and say, why is Akif Javed not a developed product? How can you even say that? You know the context better than anybody else. Well, it's wrong for you to put that onus on Akif. You should put it on the people behind that, and maybe a synonymous name is probably the person that I would put the onus on.
I think this used to work back in the day, where like in the 80s and 90s, where if a bowler is so good, you just bypass domestic. For example, Wasim Akram was picked up from the Nets by Javed Milad. Waqar Yunus was picked up because Imran Khan had food poisoning and he was watching TV and he watched Waqar Yunus ball. So back in those days, you could have like fast track guys.
Also, the game and the fast track of the guys was very similar. Now the game is stratospherically larger than everything else. There's so much data science. There's so much biomechanics. Now I sound like Doc. Now I sound like Mr. Nomanias. But it's true. The data science, the biomechanical science that is used in cricket these days is insane, man. Like, you and I can download an AI app right now and have it dissect our batting. That's how good it is as we speak. If you and I have that technology on our phones, then why doesn't the PCB have that?
Recently, Pakistan tried to fast track a lot of guys. Abdullah Shafiq's, I think, first T20 match was when he toured to New Zealand during COVID. And I think he got 2 ducks in a row. Haider Ali, we tried to fast track from under 19 to Pakistan team, didn't work out. Musa Khan, we tried to fast track from domestic to test cricket, didn't work out. Naseem Shah played 1 test, gets injured, back injuries. So we've had a lot of records of us fast tracking guys and not working out. And the few of the guys we do see performing, I think, are top domestic performers. For example, Salman Aliaga, he's been through the grind of domestic. So even though our domestic isn't really the best, but guys who have been through there for a few seasons at least, I think they're more self-aware. They know what their game is and how they can perform and contribute towards a team. But for now, even Sufyan Makeem, Akif Javed, asking these guys to come in and deliver right now with the very limited matches they played is too high of a task.
I think letting these guys cook in the system a little bit is probably the right move. Whatever the system may be, whatever flaws it has, keeping an eye out on these guys is important. But we keep bringing back players like Fahim Ashraf and Khusdhil Shah, and that's probably also an issue right there. When there are newer, better talents out there that should probably get the call up, we keep going back to these old heads that have been tried and tested, and we're trying to squeeze every ounce of productivity out of them. But maybe we should be looking elsewhere. Maybe Arafat Minhas and Mehran Mumtaz is the answer instead of Khusdhil Shah. Maybe an Amir Jamal, maybe working Naseem Shah into a batting all-rounder. Maybe, I don't know, like think out of the box. What pissed me more off, Bashar, about just the tri-series the 3-match series that we just went through was, and we deliberately don't speak about this cricket player, but Usman Khan. Usman Khan played the first ODI. He scored 39 off of 34 deliveries. And I saw that, and it pissed me off so much. Not because he scored runs, because he sat on the bench in the Champions Trophy in 2025 in Dubai and didn't play a single minute in that entire series. Instead, we called back Imam Haq, who scored 6 off 18 and ran himself out in the most disgusting manner of all time. If this guy had that potential, obviously he's played, the Pakistan team has been carrying him for a number of years now, a number of months. And they are seeing something in him that maybe you and I have not seen. That's why we don't discuss it. But if you are giving him a run in New Zealand, then why not give him a run in UAE where he left to play for Pakistan?
Usman Khan is on a world tour, bro.
He went to Ireland. He's like the Jonas Brothers right now.
He went to England. He went to New York, Miami, Florida, Pakistan, Dubai, New Zealand, chilling.
Like, what is did not offend you? I got offended when I saw that. If he's capable to do that on shitty bouncy tracks in New Zealand where the ball is bouncing over his head and he has absolutely no technique to do that, then could he not have done something in against India in Dubai? Like, did you have to bring back Imam Haq? Because if you don't bring back Imam Haq and you just bring back Sufyan Makeem instead of Imam Haq, suddenly you don't look as bad as you did in that entire tournament. You have a striking opener with Babar Azam, that is Usman Khan, that can do something of this nature that we saw against New Zealand in the first ODI. Okay, fine, interesting. And then, you got a Sufyan Makeem in there with Abraham, and then suddenly the tournament looks a lot different. You don't look like you're going to get concede 300 in every single game. Maybe you have some sort of, recourse against oppositions like New Zealand and India. But here we are.
Yeah, I think just one spinner for the Asia Cup still does not sit right with me. One spinner, one opener. Like, how?
Akib ball. Welcome to Akib ball. And maybe this is the transition to Akib Javed and his one-man army. Like, this is the time where Gillespie's coming out. Tim Nielsen is coming out. Is that the name?
Yes.
They said right? And they're saying how toxic the Pakistan culture is that Jason Gillespie just wants to quit coaching altogether. Imagine the breakup that Gillespie went through, that he just wants to cease to exist in the realm of coaching now. That's how bad it was for him.
The breakup was so bad that Jason Gillespie does not believe in love anymore.
There we go. Thank you. You as a person who is recently heartbroken, he's turned into a cynic. Jason Gillespie, we broke him. We broke him in 6 weeks. It's over for him now. And I look at those remarks and it pisses me off. Like the anger that it's hard for me to contain, because then you get results like these back-to-back losses against CD teams, and we're supposed to just take it all in.
And Tim Nielsen was Pakistan's fielding coach, and he said the moment we started to see results in the fielding side, that's when it got changed. And if you talk to Pakistani players, they say the most improvement they saw was when they were working with Steve Rickson during the whole Mickey Arthur period. They worked with Steve for about 2 years, and Pakistan's catching was at an all-time 82% high, which is quite good.
So, how long can this sustain? How long can this Akib ball facade sustain? Why doesn't he get the central contract and coach this team for 2 months? Why doesn't he get a team behind himself and actually take responsibility for these results. Because right now, you put Aqib Javed in front of a mic, he says, I'm an interim coach. I have nothing to say about this side. We can have multiple losses like these, and we can have multiple, Aqib Javeds come and go. And I myself will not take any responsibility because I don't have any stake in the game. Like, it is not Aqib's fault that he sucks right now.
It is Aqib's fault.
It is Aqib's fault, and it is Ajju's fault. Azhar Mahmood's fault. Azhar Mahmood did not take the IU gig because he wanted to coach Pakistan in the bowling department. What is he doing? Why is he still there? He comes out on national TV and he's like, these guys don't listen to me. Resign. Have some dignity, Ajju.
Well, job security.
What job security? IU probably pays him better than this for 6 weeks of work. And he might actually have a chance to win a title there and have some sort of glory and dignity to come out. What is happening here? The graph under Azhar Mahmood as bowling coach has just gone south. From when he took this team up and where they are now, it's not even close.
He said Pakistan has no spinners.
Pakistan has no spinners. Sufyan Wakim is the best bowler in this entire series. Make it make sense. On bouncy tracks where nothing was happening, where no Ishodi was playing, Bracewell was probably the only one that was kind of getting any turn. This guy comes in and runs circles around these guys. In New Zealand, literally could not play him.
Do you know who Pakistan's best bowler was in the first ODI?
Hit me.
Irfan Khan Niazi. So how could you say Azhar Mahmood is not doing any work with guys? Because we discovered Irfan Khan Niazi is no medium pacer.
I feel like you and Irfan Khan Niazi should go on a pace-off and see what
I think
happens.
we have similar speeds.
Similar speeds, yeah.
Similar bowling speeds.
Yeah, I think you might be better line length than him, though.
That's one thing you realize. As you grow older, and I sound like an uncle, but as you grow older, guys, line length is a lot more important
than pace,
than speed.
Yeah.
You look at Glenn McGrath,
Mohamed
the Boss, you look at Mohamed Asif, you look at Vernon Philander, line length, that's it.
Ashish Nehra?
Not Ashish Nehra.
Okay, my bad, sorry.
More like Bhuvneshwar Kumar.
Bhuvi, yeah, Bhuvi.
I love Bhuvi.
Yeah, Bhuvi's great. Yeah, I mean, like, it's tough, man. Like, I don't know where to go from here. As a person who should be talking about these things, sometimes this team does leave you gobsmacked and absolutely wordless. Like, there's nothing to add to this. There's a lot of pain going into this. The captain comes out and he's so altruistic that it's annoying. You know that guy that's like has that toxic positivity? Like, oh, you broke your arm. It's like, at least you didn't break your other arm. That's not. I still don't have a broken arm here. And your captain comes out and he's like, guys, it's in the past. It's all good. You know, yesterday's history, tomorrow's mystery, and today's the present. That's why we call it. Like, what are you saying, Mohammad Rizwan? He's like, oh, guys, we're gonna go play the biggest tournament in Pakistan right now. It's called the PSL. We're gonna have fun.
I'll tell you
I can't sleep for the past 3 weeks because this god-awful game happens at 3 a.m. and I have to wake up. I have not seen my child in 3 weeks because of this Pakistan cricket team. And Mohammad Rizwan is going to have a good time at the PSL?
I'll tell you what the issue is. There's an entire Pakistan cricket economy, right? The economy works on sponsorships. It works on the fact that people watch cricket. But if Pakistan performs like crap and they keep losing in big tournaments, bilaterals, that sponsorship will come down. That viewership will come down. And Pakistan, in turn, will lose a lot of money. And for how long will you actually rely on just the revenue that you get from ICC when ultimately the end result with the fans is not there? A lot of fans are starting to check out, not just from now, but since the last T20 World Cup, since the fact that Pakistan has not been competitive against India in the past 2 years. And this is a big concerning sign for Pakistan. You know, you can't just go in the PSL and think everything is all
I mean, we
lovely.
spoke to a few franchises for this PSL, and the general demeanor and the general vibe that we got was that this PSL, it might be the 10th, but the hype isn't there, the fan interest isn't there, the sponsorship dollars aren't there. It's just because Pakistan team sucks right now. It's as simple as that. And that entire economy is not derived by how pretty Naseem Shah is or how much data Babar Azam has. It's derived by how good this Pakistan cricket team plays collectively. Not one, but all of them. And if all of them want to make money for as long as they want, they gotta pull up some wins, man. Like, it's hard. It's hard out there. And because of that, there is less interest in domestic tournaments, and the PSL, that is the franchise, the flagship event in Pakistan, not just in cricket in Pakistan, but in Pakistan. It derives not only just the cricket economy, but it drives the ad economy, it drives the food economy, it drives the music economy. Artists get paid, there's concerts, tickets get sold. Like, the whole thing works for these 6 weeks to make sure that the PSL is a successful event. It will keep going down because we have forgotten how to win. Simple as that.
I used to always think what it's like to be a Bangladesh cricket fan. Because,
oh my God, this is karma because I shit on Bangladesh.
Because Bangladesh, they rarely win, right? They win one-off match here, they win a home series.
They're pretty good at home, by the way.
They're pretty good at home, but I mean, for the most part, when they go abroad, they're just not competitive. Big events, they flop. Yet, Bangladesh fans keep tuning in. I would wonder how they do it. Now I know.
I would want to end this podcast, Bashar, on a little bit of a high. You saw all 3 games. Is there anything that you can squeeze out of this that is an ounce of hope to our fans? Gives them some sort of copium that they can find themselves into the PSL with a higher head?
I think Sufyan Wakim is a big positive.
I was just going to say.
The fact that he comes in, and I've seen a lot of his bowling ball by ball. I was watching some matches, and he bowls quite consistently on a good length.
Shoebox, bro.
He's very good. He has good variations. He balls at good speeds. He has that one odd ball that just drops short, but it's not that much. Like his bad ball percentage is like 1 in 10.
Yeah.
Right? He balls economically. He stops the runs. And I just can't stop thinking, like, what if he was playing against India? What if we had him in the Champions Trophy? Could we have had a bit different result? I don't know. It's sort of like you think of things to say after a fight, but the fight's over. You've lost the fight.
Pakistan cricket, if they have any semblance of any sort of maturity and any sort of, I don't know, like merit-based anything, invest in Abrar and Sufyan Wakim. These 2 should be a solid pick for the T20 World Cup that's going to happen next year because it's happening in Sri Lanka where the pitches turn.
I think the issue with that is if you play both of them together, I'm a very big sucker for batting depth, for having all-rounders in the team. And if you have both Sufyan and Abrar playing, then you are sacrificing on batting depth. So right now, the Pakistan team's issue is that the first ODI, Naseem Shah is coming in at number 8. That is horrible, right? So all of the teams...
Naseem scored a 50 this series, so mind your language.
No, I know that. But just Naseem Shah, he's not a reliable batter, so to say.
Maybe he should be.
The point is...
Naseem Shah versus Shaheen Afridi right now. Yes or no?
Batting-wise, Naseem.
There we
he's
go.
There.
Then that's the answer.
But he's still not a reliable batsman. You won't rely on Naseem to go out there and score runs. He's not a quote-unquote officially an all-rounder, right? So, but my point is that at number 8, you need to have all-rounders coming in, maybe even to number 9 or even number 10. So if you're playing Abrar and Sufyan together, then you're sacrificing on that potential batting depth. That's why I think Pakistan should have played Khusdhil Shah, because he gives you some overs. This is why I think Pakistan needs to invest into more all-rounders. If the next ODI World Cup is in South Africa, Hussain Tarat is a pretty good player who is a lefty batsman. Every team needs lefties in their batting lineup. You look at the Indian team where they have Akshar Patel there, they have Jadeja there, they had Rishabh Pant there, even Australia, they've got a lot of lefties. So lefties are very important just to disturb the bowler's line length. And also, because you're playing cricket on both sides of the wicket, sometimes one side is skewed and one is not. So you need that lefty to target that shorter boundary on the other side. So Khusdhil Shah, Hussain Tarat, these guys, Arfat bin Haas, need to be integrated as soon as possible.
The next series that Pakistan plays is, I believe, the Bangladesh series, which used to be 3 ODIs and 3 T20s, and now it's 5 T20s. Babar's runs, in your words, that I'm gathering are meaningless in this series because Pakistan...
Well, I think the issue with Babar is, and I think a lot of fans have very high expectations from Babar, and they expect Babar to go out there and finish matches. That used to be me. A couple of years ago, that used to be me. But now there's been so many matches, there's such a large sample size for me to judge that Babar Azam is not that guy for us to win us matches. Like he'll score his 50, 70, but he can't finish matches.
That gets you in a good position.
He doesn't have that sort of ability to do that. And I feel very sad saying this. It's a very harsh reality, but that's just been the sample size. Unless it's like a weaker team, unless the games are in Pakistan where there's not a lot of pressure, Babar, he's going to finish matches there. But in big tournaments and crunch matches and higher pressure situations, Babar Azam will not finish matches for you. He'll score his runs, 60, 70, 50, whatever. But he needs support from the other end from guys like Fakhr and Rizwan and Salman and Yaga to help him play the innings that he needs to play.
So potentially we won't see Babar Azam bat for the next 6 months in Pakistan colours if he doesn't go back into the T20 squad. Which I'm already hearing rumors that the callback is here.
Listen, how the PSL goes is that have no doubt that Babar and Rizwan will be in the top 5, if not the top 10 run getters, right? So that will then make the case for them to come back in the T20 team. And the first tour is against Bangladesh at home, 5 games. So, if Babar and Rizwan do want to come back, that'll be their pathway to come back.
I don't see Rizwan coming back, but I might see a Babar Azam come back. I don't know if that's good or bad, but I just think that that's probably most likely what's going to happen.
I hope Pakistan plays the same exact squad in Bangladesh, like for the Bangladesh series.
Same exact squad?
Really? Well, maybe have an extra spinner there.
Yeah.
Maybe an extra spin.
But you're saying the batting lineup should be the same captain, same everything.
Same captain, same top order. I don't know what happened to Shadab Khan, but just give him one more series. I want to judge after that Bangladesh series as to where this Pakistan team should be going in white ball.
It is a T20 World Cup year, so the PSL is going to be extremely important. I believe the T20 World Cup is in February or March.
Right. So this is
the last PSL before we...
It's the biggest, most premier tournament domestically before the next T20 World Cup.
Yeah. So, lots of expectation, lots of stakes. I think we will also be shifting our gears from international cricket to the PSL. I don't think any other big T20I series is going on right now. I believe this is the only one.
No other league is happening?
No other league is happening except for the PSL. So this is good for us. That gives us a good window to just cover that. No international cricket happens during this because of the PSL. That's the weight of that tournament, and the weight of that league is so high that no other international cricket dare come in between them. So we're going to be covering the PSL as much as we can. I don't know. You and I are still talking about how we want to cover this. Is it going to be an everyday, like a daily PSL 20-minute, 30-minute video? Is it going to be like every 3 days? We're still working it out. The next episode that we do is going to be a PSL preview. Where we talk about our favorite teams, what we think is going to happen, our top 4s, and so on and so forth. It might be obvious to a lot of people that we are still in Canada and not going to the PSL this year. Maybe we'll discuss a little bit of those circumstances in the next episode as well. We do have a planned Patreon monthly call that we do for next week. So I believe it's the 5th today. I'm thinking about maybe next Saturday, next Sunday. Maybe what is that? The 12th or the 13th. So keep an eye out on that. Join the Patreon if you guys want to be part of this WhatsApp group. If you guys want to be part of our Patreon monthly calls. If you just want to be part of our discourse, because I think we talk about there a lot. That really helps the channel. Keeps lights on, as you mentioned. If you guys don't think, if the budgets don't allow it, join the Discord. Discord is a very lovely place. I love everybody there. The meme game on our Discord is absolutely fire. And the discourse there is also extremely valuable. So I appreciate that as well.
The discourse or the Discord is good. What did you make of the Khusdhil Shah incident?
Oh, man.
This is the second fight that Pakistan player has had with an audience member or a fan. The first one being Haris Rauf in the US last year.
I think... I'm glad you brought this up.
And there's,
53-minute mark. But I have a lot of opinions on this.
So firstly, there's been a lot of footage coming out of Pakistani fans abusing Pakistani players. Yeah. And whether it be Khusdhil Shah walking in to bat in Karachi, people chanting Parchi, 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 or Azam Khan batting and they're chanting Parchi, 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 or people screaming at Babar Azam in Australia saying he's not a T20 player, or people calling him Babar Azam other names.
Babar Azam was there. You and I at the India versus Pakistan game heard Ghante ka king.
Right.
As Babar was fielding on a mid-off.
What happens with this stuff is that, in the ground, you're so close to the player, and if the player is fielding on the boundary, the players 100% hear it.
Yeah.
We had this one incident where in 2019, we went to watch the GT20 season 2, and we had VIP seats, so we were sitting on mid-off, long off actually, and Shoaib Malik was fielding right in front of us. And there was a guy in our stands who was abusing Shoaib Malik, who was calling him names. Shoaib Malik heard that for 1 over. And then when the over switched, he came back. Shoaib Malik requested the security to kick that guy out and ban him from the stadium.
Yeah.
So this stuff happens quite often. We've had a very famous incident of Inzamam ul Haq asking for Pakistan's 12th man for a bat when he was facing India in Canada, actually. And Inzamam ul Haq took the bat and he went into the audience to attack a spectator who was calling him Alu Alu. And for the longest time, Inzamam was banned from coming to Canada because there was an open case against him for assault.
Okay, so I have a lot of thoughts on this, and I think we could honestly do a whole podcast on just this topic. But what has happened in the past 3 or 4 years, and one of the main reasons why you and I decided to start this podcast was the radicalization of the Pakistan cricket fan. So the armchair discourse when Pakistan cricket is playing, when our dads are watching or uncles are watching, is that whenever something bad happens, the cat is dropped, run out is missed, somebody goes out really early. There's just a general negative fervor around that certain player, and then things move on and you progress ahead. What has happened in the past 3 or 4 years, and this is extremely indicative of where the media is heading in Pakistan and the discourse around Pakistan cricket, is that toxicity and negativity sells. I can point to like at least 6 creators right now off the top of my head that create Pakistan cricket content that are just selling negativity.
Name them.
I would not want to name them because I don't want the fervor of their fans, and nor do I want to platform them.
Sorry to cut you off.
But everybody knows who I'm talking about.
But
there's these 2 gentlemen that sit on red chairs. There's this one kid with the glasses who lives in Saudi. There's these 2 other guys who on TikTok and Instagram that talk about Pakistan cricket. They have nothing positive to add to the discourse. You and I sat here for an hour, upset, just frustrated with this Pakistan cricket team. But I don't think we even became even a little bit personal with these players because we understand.
We try to be constructive.
We try to be constructive. Also, you and I have met these players. We are friends with a number of these players, and we understand what the vigor goes into, what kind of mental state these guys get into when this type of discourse starts happening. Now, what is happening in the Pakistan cricket circle is that these voices are being amplified because it's really fun to share those memes, and it's really fun to cut that part out and do this and make that song and make that emoji go viral. It's really fun, man. It's like I said, the Schadenfreude, the feeling of positive joy that you get when you hate on something, it's unparalleled. It's unparalleled. I get that. And it's when it's like a community, like a lot of people hating on the same person, oh my God, it's the best thing ever. But what happens is that you only need a few bad apples to get radicalized from those events, from those talks, from those memes, from that culture, to then go out into New Zealand, which is a relatively extremely peaceful place, which is this beautiful, sceneries all around. And you're just engulfed by beauty at all times. For you then to be a piece of shit and to go talk to a national cricket player and start spewing all this hate and start spewing all this venom that you've been fed through the funnels of the internet.
It's also because of social media, right? People often
it's all
abuse
because of social media
behind a screen, and they think they're so normalized by it. Like if they say the same things in person, that a player won't react.
Man, you and I, we get a lot of comments, and we get a lot of negative comments. I would bet a lot of money that those people that comment negatively on us, if they ever see us in public, would ask for a picture. Because we were at the India versus Pakistan game, which is technically kind of a hostile environment for a Pakistan cricket fan. We got a lot of love, man. A lot of people came and took pictures with us. Even if they didn't want to take pictures, they came and shook our hands. If they didn't want to come and shake our hands, they saw us from afar and did the signature nod. Not once were we abused, or not once were we pushed against the wall, or somebody came and said anything negative, because that's not who real people are. But it only takes a few bad apples, Bashar. This Khusdhil Shah incident is not isolated. There's a lot of other incidents behind the scenes. Like Imam ul Haq, the fact that he cannot let his parents come and watch him play a game live speaks volumes.
Imam also came out saying that there was one news channel he was working with last year who sort of demanded him to be a lot more critical and negative. And that news channel specifically has this one person on to do that entire job of being negative and yes.
Why are you scared of saying Ahmed name? Are you scared of his billion fans that are going to come and get you? Look, I'm just saying, these people, the Ahmed Shahzads, the other people that I've mentioned, they are not adding to the discourse of cricket. Everybody's running their own agendas. We only have one agenda, which is the Karachi agenda. We will love a Karachi player to death. That's our agenda. That's our fault. I don't think that big of a deal as what these guys are doing. Actively harming the natural discourse of how cricket should be discussed among the fans and the masses, but going and taking out their own personal vendettas against them. This is why these few people get radicalized, and then this stuff happens.
I think it's also that cricketers are low-hanging fruit. So, for example, if you've had a fight with your wife, you can't go out there and scream at your wife. But an easy target is Babar Azam when he drops a catch, or Abdullah Shafiq when he doesn't score 50. Yeah. So you can't take out the frustrations of your life within your life, but cricketers are a very easy target.
But that's what I'm saying. And there are certain media personalities, social media personalities, that have given voice to the darkest and most negative parts of our cricket culture, I'm not saying that what our parents or what our uncles used to do in front of the TV was right, but it was an outlet for them and it would go away in the next couple of minutes when things would change. But what has started to happen is that negative outlet stays now on the internet for everybody to see and watch and hear for years to come. And then it's so easily clippable that it's on the internet, it's on social media, and that thing goes viral with a capital V. People send it to us all the time. Not once have we platformed them or once have we tried to push that narrative to the front. Some of those memes are actually quite funny as well. But again, it's not what we want to do with our platform. You and I sit here. There are other people like us, Butterfast, Pro Sports, there's other podcasts like us that are trying to just have that conversation about cricket and keep it to cricket, Like it's tough for the players to then cross the line and then become something else. And if we ever do cross the line, I'm very sure our fans are and our listeners are mature enough to call us out on that, and we will definitely be called out on that. But we try our best to make sure that, at least from our platform, we don't have a fan that goes out and yells at Khusdhil Shah.
That's been the sort of goal we've had with the podcast, is to just make that community of like-minded, non-toxic people. And that's why our mods on Discord are very strict with people being toxic or abusive towards players. Be critical, talk about technique, talk about stats, numbers, all you want. But once you go below the belt, that's when things start to get bad. I heard Naseem Shah in a recent interview saying that, people on TV, former players who have played for Pakistan for 20 years, 15 years, are talking about how I fix my hair, talking about how I am in ads. But they're not talking about how I'm bowling or my line, my length, my technique, my bowling action. So keep things to cricket and people will actually listen to it.
Yeah, but everything else is noise, man. Like if Babar Azam is getting UFone ads, doesn't have anything to do with this cricket. The cricket player that gets the most ads in cricket is Virat Kohli. His entire Instagram feed is just an ad for a brand that he's trying to sell. His cricket is not even 1% affected by that. So stop, again, like you said, stop attacking low-hanging fruit. And if you actually want to criticize someone, criticize the bigger elephants in the room that are year over year destroying Pakistan cricket. And not these kids, these players that are just wearing the badge and trying their best to perform. Like it's not Khusdhil Shah's or Fahim Ashraf's fault that they're back in the team. It's the selection committee, right? So we attack them, we talk about them, we criticize them. Fahim Ashraf and Khusdhil Shah are just trying to do their jobs, man. And like, if you come out and you become racist and you're becoming just mean and negative, and you think that these people, just because they're cricketers and they make an extra amount of money or they have an extra amount of fame, that you can come out and target them, well, then you're going to get hit by a bat.
Or like they owe you something.
Yeah, like they owe you something. The entitlement that Pakistan cricket fans have is insane. Like they want everything to happen today and they want everyone to bow down against them. Like one of our cousins, like I'll say this blatantly, his whole agenda against Babar Azam in the group chat is that Babar is arrogant now. Has he ever spoken to Babar Azam? No. Has he ever talked to Babar Azam? No. He saw one story of Babar Azam doing this one thing and now he's come to a conclusion that frankly is extremely toxic. And because he's our cousin, we can still talk to him and try to make him understand the other side of it. But there are millions of other guys like him, frustrated young adults in the Pakistan cricket sphere that actually believe this venom that is being spewed against these cricketers and calling them names and calling them X, Y, and Z. It's toxic, man. And it just takes 1% or not even 0.5% of those people to actually go out and say something and do something. And then we have events like this. You will never hear this type of stuff happening to any other cricketer or any other fandom. Bangladeshi cricketers are revered even though they hardly win anything. Shakib Al Hasan is the most celebrated person in Bangladesh.
It's also because Pakistan has become just a one sporting country. Like if we had still hockey working and performing, or if we had a good football team or a table tennis team that wins stuff, the hate would have been scattered or distributed.
I don't know about that.
But right now, it's just one sporting country, cricket, we're not doing good. And people take out all of their negative frustrations on the players and the team, which I think is not fair.
Yeah. No, I'm glad you brought it up. I think the incident against Khusdhil and all the other players, man. Like we've talked to players off the record and they tell us some of the horrific stuff that they hear.
And everybody hears the stuff. I mean, everybody's got phones. Even if they won't see it on social media, somebody will send it to them. Like they'll have a stupid friend be like, "Yo, did you hear this guy said this about you?" And then they'll see that stuff.
Yeah. And if you're an international player listening to this podcast or listening to this part of our episode, and if you have people like that are doing that, call them out, man. Tell them you don't want to hear that. You don't want to see that. We try our best to, if we have, like Saman Liaga is in our DMs on Instagram and we DM back and forth. Every time we message this guy, it's either been to congratulate him on something or to big him up on something. What am I gonna say? What am I gonna text him and say, be like, yo, you lost 4-1 against New Zealand? Like, what am I adding to that? Does he not know himself what to do, what not to do? My position as someone who talks about cricket, who's also a fan of cricket, who's also a fan of Samanya, is to big him up when I can and then be quiet when there's nothing to big him up about. Right? That's my motto, man. That's what I do. That's what I try to preach on this podcast. I try to make sure that our fans and people listening to us have that sort of ethos. I can't control the masses. I can just be a little bit of a voice from our platform and call out the BS when I see it. And this was BS. Whatever's happening to Khusdhil, BS, Imam, BS, Azam, BS. Those people need to learn and grow up and just, it's fun to hate. Just do it respectfully.
Just a final thought on this. I think targeting the players is the most easiest thing, because when you actually like do a deep dive and think about, okay, who picked these players, selectors, who made these guys selectors, chairman, okay, who appointed chairman, the prime minister. So the deeper you go into this rabbit hole of what's actually the issues with Pakistan cricket, the more you realize that it's not the player's fault.
It usually never is. It usually never is. Yeah, I mean, thanks for bringing that up, because I totally forgot that we had to discuss that, and I feel lighter now that I've gotten that out, because I see, we're on the internet. This is the age of the 21st century, and we see stuff, and you and I share it amongst each other, or somebody will share it with us, and I just find it reprehensible, man. I don't think there's anything positive coming out of that. It's just for shits and giggles, you're trying to ruin somebody's life, and it actually is. Somebody's life would get ruined if Inzi had swung that bat and hit somebody and somebody gotten hurt. Inzi's career is done there, right? Inzamam this was in the 90s, so like Inzamam had a long career after that. If Khusdhil Shah had actually gone out and hit these guys, Khusdhil's done, right? And so are these guys. And those guys, I saw that video, like, just absolutely no regard for public discourse, no regard for where they are. There's families and kids there, and the language that's being used. And then you go out and you're blamed, and that's the sort of image that you're portraying. People love to talk about the positive image of Pakistan. What about these guys, man? What about them?
Well, apparently, according to the PCB, that they were Afghan nationals. I don't know if there's a way to confirm that or not, but that was in the PCB's.
Whatever the case may be, like what the headline is that Khusdhil Shah lost his temper, right? Nobody gives a crap.
So, by the way, wild image of him almost trying to get into the crowd.
That is a crazy image. That is a wild image. That's true. But like, there's nothing much else to add to that. That just is reprehensible. It's sad. I would hope that people who are consuming this stuff have some sort of dignity and sort of detachment. If you are consuming it, just understand that this is at the end of the day just entertainment, and not to internalize it and then do something about it, because that's literally how terrorists are made. When you listen to enough propaganda, you will lose your mind.
On that note, guys, thank you for tuning in to Backward Point. We appreciate everybody listening in.
I believe it an hour on that, man.
The emoji of the day has to be something very peaceful and calming. Unlike the Khusdhil Shah incident.
Tell me the emoji of the day then.
I think right now Pakistan cricket needs a lot of prayers. So if you can just have some prayer hands in the comment section, if you made it this far along in the podcast.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man, guys. An hour and 8 minutes. We were off for Eid. We just took some time off with our family and friends. But we're back, and we're back with a bang. We're gonna hit the ground running. Lots of PSL content to come, and we're gonna cover a lot more cricket coming in the few weeks. So stay tuned, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.
Cheers.